some of these. And this is like a pressure valve that we have. So
you can monitor the pressure, right?
you can adjust the pressure, but also like over the years, this kind of valve like is better, where the pressure builds and then releases, where it's not like the one that's like always releasing, because like you really need a proper airtight seal.
Yeah.
And it's easy to not have an airtight seal. So like, yeah, we had to order these and get them and everything, so.
Can this one do injection, like nitrogen?
Like carbonic yeah, I mean, we used to have some with like a valve, and then you could have like an intake valve, and then this is the release valve.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're not doing that now.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because, I don't know, I don't think it was that like added that much, you know, in our process.
Yeah.
And then everything goes by gravity.
Okay.
Down. So like the truck and, you know, everything will pull here, and you know, for the coffee, which I show you at the bottom, and then gets pumped back up to float to a floater.
Yeah.
So then the floaters get taken out one direction, and then the coffee goes into the pulper in the other direction. So this is like the receiving, weighing, all that kind of thing. We do our special fermentation lots over on this side, and then put it into the other fermentation tanks.
The one to put the mosto, or?
Yeah, so you can climb up there, and you feed the tank at the top. 5,000 liters of cherry. We put it in there for like 72 hours, and then I'll show you how we drain it.
Okay.
I can show you now. That's our wash process. I'll finish that one, but that's the washed process line.
Yeah.
So then the mosto will come here.
Cherries to be soaked with the mosto, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, well, this is not the soaking. This is just creating the mosto. Then we take then we take it out. We filter it. We check the pH, etc., etc. Then we take that juice and then we mix it into the next.
The tank?
Yeah, into the smaller tank.
Oh.
And you know, anaerobically ferment the next fresh batch of cherry with the juice. So that's how we.
Okay.
That's how we basically do it.
So what kind of mosto it's qualified for you? You have some pH requirements?
Yes, we have many requirements. I don't have them offhand, but yeah, we have strict. Bricks of the cherry.
About 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bricks of about 15. Yeah.
And pH is around 4.
Okay, around 4.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
That's good. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you have the standard, and so it's consistent. Different.
Yeah, it needs to be. It needs to be, or or you're not going to have repeatable results.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You know, it's because you can't always control for temperature and different. So everything you can control for, you want it to be like as tight as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the future, we have it here. In the future, we're talking about building this kind of structure like underground in like the coolest area possible. So then the temperature's more stable.
Yes.
So yeah, that's important because also, when you're doing fermentation, you want the seal to be like truly airtight.
Yeah.
Then the whole coffee in the tank doesn't heat up. And you don't want the coffee to reach too high of a temperature on the beds. Same thing in the fermentation stage. You want to keep it cooler.
Yes.
So, and also a cooler environment is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a new addition this year. This time of the year, because they're already, getting dry, like 18 days.
Yeah.
But normally we could go up to 30 days, 25, 30 days for a natural coffee. Like that's, 25 days probably our average.
Okay.
That's a good amount of time. When it rains, or even just at night, there's still airflow.
Yes.
We're not like wrapping it tight without airflow, especially in the beginning. We don't want to have like a surface mold, and that's where you can get like some off fermented flavors.
Yes.
So we want to keep the airflow, you know, with the naturals. And then we're, you know, depending on where it is, we'll modulate how thick or how thin the cherry layer is. Yeah, so thin, just super thin is not always the best because it can almost be too clean. So especially in the beginning, you know, want a little bit thicker. We don't move it too much, the coffees. We don't want to like over agitate, especially with like the wet cherry, you know, with like, because you don't want them breaking up.
Yeah.
You want it to dry.
Like
you know, it's inherently not like an even process, the drying, but you want to make it as even as possible. So you want to keep it like a whole cherry.
Yes.
When you, like a raisin, you know, when it dries.
Yeah.
So that's why if it's too moist, they can just crack open easy. Yeah, it should be quite even like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, this is a little thicker layer, but yeah, we sometimes make it thicker if we want to slow down the process.
How many days? It's not nicely drained. Oh, it's written there.
That's 19th.
Oh. So how many days more is it this?
Maybe 4 days.
Oh, 3-4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, like toward the end, we have moisture.
Yeah, this one is
Yeah, we have Sinar.
11.1. So
It's 11.1. We usually
10.5. To go to
10.5 to 11.
Okay.
It can take the UV.
Yeah.
The UV rays, like it's good. And then yeah, this one. So there's a lot of small details that are just important.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
that's a smart, like,
Yeah, this kind of cloth.
it's easier for them to take it out or what?
At a certain point, it's easier for them to handle when it's like this.
Ah.
You know? But when it's quite
It's interesting.
yeah, because will they wrap this at night or they leave this one they wrap when it's getting quite dry. Because it's not going to mold. It's not going to mold like a fresh cherry.
Oh, photographer asked me to
Yeah.
go to this side.
What? I just fell in a hole.
Another hole.
Yeah, you got to watch those.
Yeah.
You know, you want to. There's no risk of it molding now because it's dry. Yeah, so it's easier to handle on this. They can just wrap it quickly.
Yeah.
To wrap it on these parabolic beds, we use for more fresh cherry.
Okay.
You know, or especially if it's raining. You know, now it's very dry. We're not so worried. But when it's raining and you have fresh cherry that's like really sticky and wet.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want it.
Yeah,
the first few days, you don't want it being like getting off flavors.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this is some experimental lot, which
Good.
you'll taste later. As the girls are also going through, if there's something that's. This came from this coffee, right? It might be just fine, but you can see it's a collection. This won't dry evenly.
Yes.
You know. So yeah, not wasted, but separated, always. Yeah, this is what's the coffee? This is Oma or Sorma. I'm sure like they have to hit this bed a certain amount of times, you know, I don't know, maybe once an hour or twice an hour, depending on where we are in the coffee. So you have to make sure they're like on the right rotation. And also someone need to be on guard watching these clouds. Rain's gonna come from this way.
Oh.
So if sometimes you have to like, somebody is designated, they have to make the call like, close it up. And then they have to scramble. But it's a pain in the butt. So you don't want to like cover in the midday unless you have to, you know? So yeah, also washed coffee at certain times gets covered.
Yeah.
You know, midday sun, the washed coffee would get covered like fresh parchment, so it's not cracking. So we have like different process, so the managers make sure all that's happening. Oh, here's your wash Nasha. So we shade dry like the whole lot. So this we want to, this shade drying like the whole lot.
Nasha?
No, this experiment.
No, this one is bangi, but it's
bangi.
experimental.
This is experimental washed.
So what experimental wash are you guys working on? Like, how do you do it?
I'd have to look at the recipe. I don't have it in my head. Yeah, I don't have it in my head, but we're working on like also like, mostly we're working with the mosto.
Okay.
Because really it gives us consistently really complex coffee and not just still subtle and not covering up the terroir, but we don't ferment for too long, but I have to look.
Aerobic fermentation for 36 hours, and then pulped,
Okay, perfect.
and then soaked with mosto for 36 hours.
Oh wow,
Yeah, that's hardcore.
it's something we haven't done before.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Because we haven't had, for any of the anaerobic lots that we do them all natural,
Yeah.
not washed. But it'd be nice if we had a washed anaerobic that was good. That would be interesting. This honey process here,
Yeah, that's what honey.
this one we can see honey process. So normally our parchment would be like a whiter color than this.
Ah, so because there's
Because this
some...
one is soaked with.
But since it's soaked again, the color's a bit different than like our normal. This is what? Is this normal washed?
Yeah, this one is natural.
This is Nasha washed. So the bean size looks bigger, yeah? Yeah. That's quite bold. And this will dry how many days? Like 12 or 15?
15.
Yeah.
15 days.
Yeah. So Nasha's hard to wash because you see our machines are not that small.
Yeah.
And like that, because we go back to the tree so many times and we're so selective, we'll go to that tree, only a little bit comes every day. So we can manage that with a natural, but to manage that wash, fermentation, our stuff, you can't just fill that tank with like a little bit of, so we have to wait till the right day. So this year, I think, what do we have? Just one washed Nasha, right? We don't have a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have only 1 or 2 lots of.
Yeah, so it, I'm sure one will be in the auction, but yeah. Yeah, this looks good.
1 lot of.
Nasha honey? Oh, 1 lot washed.
Honey.
Yeah,
Looks beautiful.
yeah.
Delicious.
I'm sure we'll be in the auction. Yeah. No, it would be nice. No, we need more Nasha, really. It would be nice for the farm.